Hey!
Hey, neighbor!
Hey!
Hey, neighbor!
So we are with you live again, out in nature. I feel so zen.
I feel like this is the new hipster thing to do, is like podcasting in open air.
Have you seen where we are?
Yeah, we're
like in the middle of hipster neighborhood. Actually, that is the neighborhood that we're in right now.
Hipster neighborhood. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like gentrification.
Warehouse.
A little bit of gentrification here, and
A little bit over here, a little bit over there.
kind of sprinkled in.
Well, okay,
So
so
there
let's...
might be like trains and trucks happening, and
Yeah, it's
wind, but
organic. It's authentic.
Well, I will give you a little history lesson in this neighborhood. It was
Ooh.
originally meant for railroad workers who were generally black and brown. It was known as La Yarda, which is a Spanish term for the yard.
Like the hood, but the yard.
Uh-huh.
That's intense.
Yeah, and a lot of the people of color were moved out when poor white people moved in.
Wow.
So there has been already some displacement happening, but now there's more displacement happening from more elite whites.
Yeah, and I feel that housing in general is like a tough situation.
In Lawrence, yeah.
Anywhere in the United States, though, I feel like rent is just too damn high.
You know, there's some really awesome stuff happening with tiny houses.
Yeah, and I feel like, honestly, though, like, I bought my house, and I could have bought a standalone house and a big one, but I actually really like how small my house is because I don't have to clean that much.
Yeah. No, okay, so, but there's a rule of thumb, like a rule of thumb written by economics or what are they called when they study economics?
Economists?
That one. They say that your rent should only be 30% of your income.
Well, who the hell can have... Okay, so
30% of your income should be going to rent, period. If it's more, then that's too much and there's a problem.
It is. Well, and then, like, I think about the wages I used to have. There was nothing 30% of that income because... I guess because I remember around this time I would be moving into a new apartment.
Everyone is, yeah.
Yeah, because it's end of
August
July.
1st is coming, yeah.
At least in college towns,
yeah,
I feel
that's
like.
what sucks about college towns. Like everybody moves this weekend.
Yeah, and it's cyclical like that.
Yeah.
When I was
Even
living,
if you're not a student, like everyone's on
Yeah,
that
because
lease
you're
cycle.
bound to that.
well, in Kansas City, the way that I remember my lease working was that I signed a lease for a whole year, and if I made it through the whole year, that meant that at the end of that year, my lease was then turned into a month-to-month lease.
That would be awesome.
That's common. That's general. That's what's supposed to be. But because they know that they can get motherfuckers for a whole last year, they will make these kids sign these contracts like that every year.
And that's crazy.
It's fucked up, dude.
It is. And then, like, if you're a family or whatever, what are you supposed to do? Because you can't purchase a home. Like, I could barely do what we've got right now because 10% down plus insurance and all these inspections and then the fixing. Yeah, it's tough. I remember, the places that I've lived in were almost probably were condemned at some point.
Oh, yeah. No, like, I know that there are babies in my neighborhood.
Wow.
And that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Because you know that my neighbors, no offense to them, but maybe offense to them, that they're not harboring an environment that's safe for children to thrive in.
Right. Yeah, that's tough. Like, it's one of the basic necessities, too. Well, and then jobs in general, like, I think our discussion over the minimum wage sometimes should be thought of because I remember, so like summer, I had a summer job, but I actually never had just a summer job. It was always a job that I held for a long time.
Yeah, not just summer. Like my job was my job, period. I worked during school and during summer.
Right.
Yeah.
Or sometimes my summer job was like my second job. And then it was difficult to make ends meet, and it was just myself, and I get it, minimum wage, whatever, but nowadays it seems like everyone wants someone credentialed or have all these years of experience in this very specific thing. Like for example, Post-it note stacker, 10 years of experience and a bachelor's degree. Really?
Who's
don't
going to
know.
get that? Like, who's going to get that job? And then, like, what are you paying? Pennies?
Basically.
Like, when the 30% of your income, if the rent is as high as it is, we should be making like $30 an hour.
Basically.
That would be the only sustainable way to like actually live like that. So I don't know.
Because in order to have housing,
Why
you
is
still
housing
need bills
like that?
money.
It's because the landlords are super greedy, dude. Because there's enough housing that's empty waiting for rich ass people to live in it because they don't want some raggedy ass people like us to live in it. Bet.
I don't want to live there either anyway. So
I mean, I want to live somewhere. I don't want to be homeless either. Shit.
Been there, done that. But, I mean, and it is important, you know, like somebody wants to put your stuff somewhere and you got to be safe and whatnot.
Yeah.
But if I were ruler of the free world for a day, meaning the entire globe, I'd be doing some reorganization, all right?
Yeah, reorganizing homes and for real food access.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of flies all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think it's all of the stuff we stopped eating.
Yeah. And they're like, hey,
Hey.
you're in our neighborhood. I'm going to eat your food. Sorry, flies, but you're also really annoying. Oh, man. Did I just gentrify their nature space?
You did.
Damn
You
it.
totally did.
Yeah. So what's been new with you this summer? I know you've been working on a lot of projects.
I cleaned out my studio, or I'm working on cleaning out my studio, so that's been really good. I'm gonna help paint a mural. Everyone's gonna help paint. That's a community project.
Yeah.
I got a raise at my
Ooh.
job workplace. So I'm probably one of the highest paid women there.
That's awesome.
Just based on how much I know I make.
Like, boom.
Yeah. And I just got 80 hours of vacation.
Oh, man. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Where are you going to go?
Probably painting a mural. I'm going to take time off to paint some of that.
Oh, well, that's good, though.
Yeah. But I'm saving some of them because I really want to go to either Mexico or New Orleans this like winter, fall.
New Orleans.
Yeah. I want to escape the cold, bitter winters of Kansas.
Yeah, like last year was intense. It froze and your pipes burst.
Oh, no, they didn't burst. Thank the Allah, whatever.
The creator, the divine.
Whatever.
The
The
above.
water spirit that lives in my basement.
Aquaman.
Thank
Aquaman.
Aquaman. Yeah, they didn't burst. And I think what I'm going to do is after all of this like moving madness subsides, I'm going to call my property managers and talk to them about efficient ways of solving this issue, not just for myself, but for future tenants, because a lot of people don't know or realize that if your pipes freeze and you leave them frozen, when it thaws out, the shit's gonna burst, and that's gonna be more money, more problems. And it's not just for you as a tenant, but for the property owner as well. I know that's a hard concept for some property management companies to understand.
I feel like I know this property management company.
I mean, it could be any of them. They're all kind of garbage.
I know.
Well, what happens is because it's leasing to a lot of students, they go home for winter break.
They don't
and
even.
they don't leave like a faucet running or anything.
Yeah, they don't. Kids don't know about shit like that. That's
For real.
homeowner people things,
For real,
not
though.
renters things.
Yeah, and then
So-
like I get it that they're like the property managers are like salty, but I'm like, hey, that's your fault for relying on your main customer base to be students that are not attached to these apartments. Like it's really not even home. I think it's more of a temporary state.
It's literally
of
where
being.
you fall asleep if you make it there. I remember one of our friends who lives in our neighborhood told us a story of how a young woman had went up the stairs, opened his door, and fell asleep on his couch. And then it was like 9 a.m. when he woke up and he saw this like drunk girl sleeping on his couch, and he's like, thank God I'm gay and that I don't have any interest in hurting this young woman.
She could
Because
have stumbled into something worse.
could you imagine,
I feel so bad for that. I mean,
like even if she, like in the middle of the night, if she walked into the wrong house, they could have just taken pictures of her, they could have done something to her. That's not safe.
it's not. Wow. She's lucky though that nothing
Yeah, he
bad
took her
happened.
home.
Wow.
Yeah. He's like a nurse at the ER, so he like
Oh my
sees
God.
a lot of this like drunken
Right.
debauchery. He's had to pump their stomachs and
It's
shit like
oh
that.
my, and I can just hear his little sarcastic voice, like, "Oh my God,
Becky, get off
get
the
your
couch.
shit together."
Yeah.
But I mean, and that was very neighborly of him, though, to think
Yeah.
that, because it is true. Like, we all like to have fun.
Well, where are her friends? Like,
you
Jesus.
know, unfortunately, some people just don't
care about each other,
Right, or
apparently.
maybe they dropped her off thinking, "Oh, she can make it
That
home."
was not where she lived.
Where did
at
she
all.
live?
She lived like on the other side of town.
Oh my God. Okay,
yeah, her
so
friends
yeah.
are bad. That's some bad
I mean,
friends.
and
girl.
nowadays there's
She might have
Uber.
been thinking it was a friend's apartment or something like that.
I think
That
she
could
was
be.
drunk.
Because we had a lot of drunk people think that when I lived in a house in the student ghetto.
Dang. Well, I mean,
That's still like, God.
or
damn.
maybe they got in an argument. Like, there's so many different scenarios. I don't know.
But she was quiet. Like, he didn't hear her come in. Like,
So she just welcomed herself to the couch. It's kind of like a
Uh-huh.
Goldilocks situation. Like, hey,
the
I'm just
privilege
gonna-
of being a white woman, man.
I suppose. Shit. Like, I
Jesus.
don't know what. Somebody would have called the cops. Like, hey, there's some lady here, and
Shoot her down. Shoot her down.
Oh my God.
Intruder. Where's barbecue Becky when you need her?
barbecue Becky. I don't know, but like that's a hot topic a lot of times, because they're like, well, just don't be drunk. I'm like, I think that's a little unrealistic, because
Especially in my neighborhood.
yeah, and especially at that age, I feel like that's really unreasonable to expect people to be perfect little angels all the time.
Parents are so delusional about their children, though.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Exactly. I'm like, okay,
Wake up. Your kids are doing shit, okay?
and they're going to, and if they tell you that they're not, I mean,
You
sure,
believe those
them,
lies.
but yeah, believe them, but then
Don't
you know,
be surprised when it's lies.
exactly, like, it's really hard to tell. But I thought that was a crying baby. It turns out it was just a door. It's really hard to tell.
That was really squeaky.
I know. Well, it sounded like ah, but I guess it was just a door. Oops. But yeah, and then it is unfortunate that women have to constantly be on the watch because of, you know, predators and things like that. And
Even
it's
little
like,
girls and boys,
Ugh.
kids in general, though, like all of our vulnerable populations. It's
Yes.
not just women; it's also like the disabled, the elderly, and
Oh,
children.
there is,
like there are
but-
so many people who are at risk that we don't even think about.
yeah, and then, you know, it would be nice to think that they would all stumble into his apartment and he would just help them home. But like, that's not the case, and you can't always expect.
And think about how these young women are not reporting some of this stuff either. Like, oh, I can't
Right.
report it. I was drunk.
Man, and then people don't sympathize with it. Like, oh, well, you shouldn't have been drunk. I'm like, yeah, but
Fuck
I mean,
you.
if I fall in a swimming pool, what are you going to tell me? I shouldn't have been swimming?
Yeah.
You know, or like, if I fall off the monkey bars, are you going to tell me I shouldn't have been playing?
Yeah.
Like-
no, I mean, you're a young person. You're supposed to experience life, and you shouldn't have to, like, worry about being in danger when you're just enjoying yourself. But
Right,
in the
but then
world that
do
we
take
live in,
precautions,
in
yeah.
the world that we live in, you have to understand that there is some responsibility that is expected of you.
Yeah, like,
And it just
go with a
sucks.
group of people.
Yeah,
or
make sure your friends fucking keep an eye on you. At least have one person that's not drunk.
Right, or turn on like your Facebook locator, because I know a lot of people have found their friends that way, where they're like, oh my God, I don't know, but let's ping you on Facebook or something and then see if we can find you. I think that nowadays there's so many ways, like Uber, there's Lyft.
But then I also wonder, like, did this girl even, like, care that this is the situation she found herself in?
Yeah, and then there's the other side too, where it's like, okay, so to what degree though is she responsible? Because I mean,
What if
obviously,
she shit on that couch? Like,
my
just saying.
God.
Or, like, what if she, like, threw up everywhere or something
Right.
like that? Like,
or what if she wasn't? I don't know. But then,
what if she was, like, a total bitch to,
Right.
like, the person who's taking her home,
Or
too?
makes
Or,
up like false allegations or something to
it's just a strange thing, you know? Like, it's very interesting.
yeah, it's like a double-edged sword sometimes. It's
Helping
like,
people's hard.
damned if you do and damned if you don't sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. Well, I'm glad that she is okay. How long ago did that happen?
Last year.
Oh, God, I'm so disconnected with everybody.
It's all right.
I don't feel like I've seen him in